connection. And the thing, I did one with Kalinda already as well, and I'm going to do a few more. And it's really just it's fascinating to me, I think, in part, like the journey. And I loved the idea of talking to you, Moss, because I know you had a lot of challenges making the techniques work. And so I actually felt like that would be really good to
Yep.
have just a, and then you had your breakthrough, but you had to work at it.
Yep.
Um, anyway, hang on, just playing that thing. Okay, so welcome everyone. It's Katie Ridge here again, and beautiful Moss who's here with us, and we're talking about the advanced awareness journey. And we were just talking before we hit record, but really, I'm just super fascinated to hear more about your arc in the program and the journey of it all. Because Moss, you just brought so much energy as well to the group, and you've birthed such a beautiful project as well during the time we traveled together, and just would love to hear more about it. And maybe you could just say hi and just introduce yourself a bit.
Hey, I'm yeah, Moss, as Katie introduced me. Um, how much of an introduction do you want?
Just
Bit of an overview. Um, Look, I done some kind of shamanic work and had a bit of a spiritual journey, leading up to the advanced awareness. And as you know, Katie, I put a kibosh on doing any more courses.
yes,
And
I remember.
and then I met you and I read about the advanced awareness course. I was like, oh, I just got to do one more. And yeah, I'm really glad I did. I Yeah, I think there was something about what you'd written that just really kind of tapped into where I was in my life at that point, and realizing that I had this kind of um, this drive and this creative energy in me that I hadn't ever really let out for kind of fear of being seen, fear of being judged. And but it'd been just this constant kind of boil in my life that I really wanted to express, but had just never really felt or never worked at it, never been intentional enough um, to really let it out. So reading through the advanced awareness on kind of background on the website, it really spoke to me, and I was like, actually, now is the time. Like I'm sick of living in this uh, almost diminished state, and not really like I knew I had so much more potential to bring to the world, and and so I kind of just went, no, I'm gonna commit to this, and signed up.
Away you go. Great. So that's what was the motivator to joining. It was that sense of that rumbling, like there was an energy in life that you knew there was something deeper that you had to offer, and it wasn't tenable to put that on pause any longer. Is that right?
Yeah, I look. I'd sorry, I'm just thinking of times.
Mm.
I think a few months before I came across advanced awareness and met you, I there was already kind of a rumbling inside me, and this
Mm.
project that was wanting to be birthed into the world. Um, but I was still really trapped in my kind of in my fear. Really, that's what it was. My fear about being seen, and um, putting it out into the world and being having my creation judged. I think.
Yeah.
Um, so there was it was already there, and it was just divine timing, really, that I came across you and your work, and it just felt like a really natural progression. Like, okay, this is going to be some scaffolding and some support for me to really um, tap into the kind of my deeper spiritual, energetic reality,
Mm.
and address some stuff there, because I realized that what was stopping me really fully expressing what I'm here to do was some stuff that I couldn't really see yet. was
Yeah.
some blocks. I knew they were there, but I, like all blind spots,
Mm,
you can't really see them. You just know there's something there that you're,
mm,
you know,
yeah.
afraid to see.
Totally, totally. And I really, yeah, 100%. And so I guess I'm curious then, given that you had that awareness and that you were consciously choosing to enter into a container where you knew you'd be working at that depth, how did it feel? Like, because sometimes it's also, while it's maybe doesn't feel comfortable anymore to be limiting what you're offering, it can also feel super scary and actually quite scary actually to step because you're stepping in and then stepping up as well in life a little bit. Yeah, so maybe you could just speak to that piece as well, because I'm sure that anyone listening to this would resonate with that. It can be scary to say yes to to stepping into the work.
Yeah, I think um, I'm just going to close the door just 1 second.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
I think I've spent my whole life avoiding doing hard things and challenging things. And
Mm,
the last year, so probably like 9 months before the course, I'd really made a decision to um, work through some of the things that I'd been avoiding in my life. So turning around and meeting those challenges head on. And I'd had a series of experiences where I'd done that, and the the challenge that I was avoiding, the reason I was avoiding it, actually through meeting it, kind of alchemized it, and it just turned into a whole new pathway. So it felt like it kind of catapulted me forward, which, as
mm.
I say it now, it kind of just makes obvious sense. But it
Yeah,
was new for me. I
totally.
guess at that time of going, oh, actually, the things I'm avoiding are the portal to the future that I want, and the like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think um, going into the advanced awareness course, I was full of energy and full of beans at the beginning, but I largely felt, um, and this is the reason I said no to doing any courses, is I've always been really good at starting things and never good at maintaining things.
Mm.
So I very quickly noticed I'm a social person. I loved getting on the calls, meeting people, being part of it, but I found it hard for myself to maintain the practices
Yes.
throughout the initial online kind of portion of it. Um, and yeah, that's a really, I have to fully own that. That's my own um, discipline and busyness. Life's very busy, and sometimes I can be not so great at carving out that time,
Mm.
intentional time to work on things that I know is good for me. So leading into the in person, I was very excited about getting together with a big group of beautiful people that I've been meeting virtually. But I was also a little bit nervous because I hadn't been doing my homework.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Hey, and what about you did the Soul Quest, did you? You did that piece before you went in? Oh, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I did. I
Oh,
did.
you did.
I did.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So that's fascinating. I love it. So, okay, so the online was like, loved the calls, the dialing it in between was a bit tricky.
Yep.
Could you feel the energy of the group though impacting your life, even though maybe you weren't doing all the practices in that perfect way, the A grade
Yep.
student type of expectation? I'm
Yep.
curious though, because so many people talk about that just when the container opens, they can feel it moving through their life.
Yeah. It's to be really honest, the
Mm.
last year of my life has been like around winter solstice last year, like something kind of shifted for me. And I've been
Um,
in this accelerated kind of um, growth and expansion phase. And I came across the you and the advanced awareness, I think maybe 3 or 4 months into that kind of big shift,
Yep.
and so there was already a lot in up in the air for me in a good way.
Mm.
Um, but it was really nice to have the group and the energy and that kind of regular kind of tap ins, and really an invitation for me to be stepping in and bringing that kind of energy and intention into my daily life. So
Mm.
it definitely I felt supported by the group, and um, I felt the energy, yeah, building of the group, and it helped. It did. While I wasn't very good at doing the meditations because I just kept falling asleep, but I'm sure we'll get to
Into
that.
that. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it was definitely kind of meeting together, and the excitement of just kind of getting the little breadcrumbs about where we were kind of going, and where we were leading, or where you were leading us to in the bigger picture, and to the in person. So yeah, I definitely did feel
Mm.
the building of the energy, and it but teasing it apart and kind of knowing what was what is, yeah.
I love that. I love it. And I love how it's like a wave of transformation was alive in your life already. And then advanced awareness joined in.
Yeah,
Um, okay, so then curious, like first impressions when you turned up at the in person at the retreat.
beautiful people.
Mm,
Yeah. Um,
that's
like
so cool.
I'm a real kind of social person, and especially when I'm like, yeah, around people that are, I guess, like-minded, and we've had some kind of connection beforehand. I was just super excited to be there, and to be part of it. And yeah, I loved the venue, the piece of land we're on, and yeah, just the that contain of it all. I Yeah, there was lots of excitement for me
Mm.
to be there, and to oh, I love retreat. I love a good retreat. Everyone
Yeah,
does.
yeah, don't we all? I know. Isn't it? It's
But
great, isn't it?
yeah, I leading into it, and then the experience of it. I'm sure that's going to be your next question, so
Well,
I won't jump ahead.
no, no, that's okay. I mean, absolutely jump right in because I guess that's the thing I'm curious about because obviously like coming in you were worried because of, I'm falling asleep when I'm doing the meditations and I assume there would have been some concern like how do I meet this then and what are we going to do? And I remember you had your big breakthrough. Maybe just, anything you feel
Yeah,
comfortable to share
talk.
about
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I because I kept falling asleep during the meditations. I think there was a lot of the consistency and groundwork that I was worried that I wouldn't have going into this, and I'd had an experience many years ago. I did a shamanic training and had a similar kind of experience where I kind of fell behind the rest of the class
Mm,
because what it was my own kind of skepticism and rational mind kept kind of stepping in and blocking me. But
mm,
then on the day eight of the 10-day course, I had like a breakthrough and was like, oh wow, okay, like now I know how to get around that part, and I can actually access all of that stuff. I just have to do it in a different way. So I leading into the advanced awareness, there was kind of, I wouldn't say trepidation, like I was okay that maybe I couldn't follow along with all of it. What I was worried about was if when we get paired up with someone,
oh,
and that I wouldn't be able to basically be there and be fully present and give a partner in that experience the same. Yeah, so it was more about letting someone else down.
mm,
Um, you know, I had to take full responsibility that I hadn't done the homework, and if I didn't get as much out of the course, then that was my responsibility. Um, yeah, but it was interesting. It was I felt really free and supported, and really I felt very expressive in myself during that container. I felt it was very a safe place and really
mm,
beautiful people where I could just be me and
Yeah.
kind of float around and like all that kind of any social um, anxiety or whatever kind of just wasn't there, which was a really nice experience just in itself. And it allowed me to, make some really nice, you know, contacts and friends, and yeah, and I felt very met in that way, which was nice. Um, I think it was probably on maybe it was quite a few days into it, and I was sharing that I kept falling asleep, and someone just like piped up and said, "Oh, have you ever tried just meditating standing up?" And I was like, "No." Okay, well, I'll try that. And like next meditation we did, and I was just like stuck with it. I was like relaxed but present the whole way through. I felt like I had full awareness throughout the meditation, and I was just like, oh, I kind of, yeah, I felt like I was kind of back into the
Yeah.
classroom almost,
Yeah. Yeah.
which was really good. And then yeah, it was. I think it was the next day after that that I I think the next day after, I don't know how much you want me to give away in details.
Well, it's okay, because if someone's this deep with this in the convo, they're like, yeah, they're
Yeah, okay.
interested. So
So
yeah,
anyway,
go.
it was one of the nature sits the next morning,
Yeah.
and I'd been carving this chunk of timber that people saw me like carving, and no one really knew what it was, and it really was like it's a seed. It's a big timber seed that kind of represents like potential.
Mm,
This potential and this project that I'm birthing in, which is called Seed Tree. So it's the first physical kind of artifact, the first physical representation of this project and this creative energy that I've got brought into the world. And
mm,
yeah, so I've been kind of carving it, and then in that nature sit in that morning, I just had this kind of really big um, release around around the feminine. Actually, it was around stuff that I've been carrying for 30 years,
mm,
around like um, protecting the women in my life from really ugly masculine behavior,
mm,
and how I had then really um, modified my own masculinity to make
mm,
sure that I was never seen as a threat to
mm,
women around me. So yeah, there was just this big kind of release, and kind of like letting that go a little bit, and
mm,
kind of realizing that a lot of that um, a lot of the trauma that I was kind of holding wasn't mine to hold. It wasn't my responsibility.
yeah.
Yeah, so it was a really cathartic moment, I think, for me, and it also then kind of allowed me to feel like I then like releasing that out of my system kind of allowed me to. It felt like birth this project into the world.
Yeah. 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 Wow.
Yeah,
Amazing. Amazing.
yeah,
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. And it's so beautiful though to me to hear that, because so much of the work, I know everybody always thinks about the mountain on high when it comes to the what we do in the world and our mission, our spiritual mission. But so much of it I've found like the real power does come from those intimate personal moments of how we've had to somehow adapt our energy and who we truly are when we really dial it down to our soul's essence
yeah,
in order to protect others, protect ourselves, show up as the best humans we can. And
yeah,
so often I see that in advanced awareness that there's this readiness from all of the adults that are there to shed layers so that they can actually step forward through that vulnerability, not bypass it or
Yeah,
in or despite it, but actually by really, owning it and bringing it in and looking after it. And it just, that's beautiful yeah, that speaks so beautifully to that, Moss. Thanks for sharing it. Very vulnerable share. Yeah.
no worries.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So the the whole retreat, in a sense, then it's an epicenter for transformation. I mean, that's how I
yep.
see it, and hearing you speak to that type of personal transformation as well. Yeah, I'm curious about that piece for you, how you then experience the energy of all the work. Everybody was doing their own personal work and really, yeah, not only stabilizing their own internal self, but then also turning their energetic capacity up and and being able to hold more energy. How did that play out then in your life afterwards?
um, hmm. Yeah. So I I guess I was there. Um, one of the one of the things that I was after out of the course was to really um, find my center
Mm,
and clear some of the things out of the way that was really stopping me from stepping into um, a fuller expression of myself. Um, yeah, and I think the container and just being in the environment where everyone's there
yeah.
basically with the same goal. So
Mm,
it was a super supportive environment and a safe environment to do that work and to lead with that intention and to, yeah, I guess be with it and be with whatever comes up. Um, and then, yeah, it's funny. Hmm, we allowed to mention like the Tower Quest part?
yeah, that's fine. Go for it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like the Power Quest, like I was so unsure of
Mm,
that whole thing, and I felt like I executed it really poorly,
mm,
and that I um yeah, and I I kind of I felt I left feeling it was a little bit consistent with my you know in the way that I'd shown up to the first part of the course.
yeah,
But it's interesting because while I might have been felt a little bit unsure of the details of my execution, my conviction to it was really, really strong.
mm,
And like when I came out of the advanced awareness, I was, on the retreat high for quite a while, but things just started moving in my life, and I witnessed myself just getting shit done,
yeah,
just going after it.
totally.
Yeah, and yeah, it was just like, whoa, okay, this is different. This feels different. I feel
Mm,
different.
mm,
The internal dialogue feels different. It's kind of like,
mm,
oh, yeah, there's still a little bit of fear there, but I'm just going to go for it regardless. And yeah, just being, I felt a lot more courage, really,
yeah,
and a lot more kind of support around me.
mm,
And yeah, and
mm.
God, February, it's not even that long ago.
It's not that long. March,
But
April, May, June, July. Yeah, it's like five. Just
5 months, yeah, so much has happened,
wow.
and from birthing Seed Tree,
Yeah,
then um, it's now there's people all around the world contacting us, and networking. There's all these opportunities. Some of the big names in the space that I've been really inspired with for many many years. We're now mixing with it in circles with, and it feels like it's just opened up, really opened up, and it's funny how closely. It's not that there's, it's been completely smooth sailing. There's still
Mm,
stuff coming up,
mm,
and in this process, and you know, putting myself out there has been one of my kind of biggest fears and hurdles, and
yeah.
I still have this up and down thing with social media and doing that.
Mm,
But it's really what's very very clear is when my energy and my co-grounder Rachel's energy went, like when we're up and like in a creative thing, and we're sitting in gratitude every morning, and doing practices that kind of nourish us and support our energetic environment, everything flows. And it's just like it, there's just been weeks of just like, what's going to happen today, like thinking about what happened just yesterday or the last week. It's just like listing off like 20 things that we just didn't think were possible that's happened, and it's just like, what's
wow.
going to happen today? And
Yeah.
it feels like this just abundance, and that you know really how we're showing up in the world just gets reflected back to us. And then
Mm,
as soon as I have like a little bit of an off day or the fear comes in, it's just like you know the email box just goes quiet and everything just goes stops, and it's just
mm,
like waiting. Come on, are you gonna step forward again? Like, yeah, it's been amazing how that reciprocity between our energy and the field energy meeting us.
mm.
Mm,
Amazing, amazing, amazing. I love that. I absolutely love that. So I'm curious then, maybe because I'm sure anyone listening would be really just interested to hear, like, what is Seed Tree, this beautiful, beautiful offering you have in the world that I'm so fortunate to think that the Advanced Awareness Energy has helped to nourish.
it has.
So yeah, I'd just love to hear more about it because, and I'll put the link at the bottom of this, and so if anyone can actually reach out and follow Moss and see what he's doing because it's awesome.
That'd be awesome.
Uh, yeah, totally, totally, yeah. So fill us in, let us know.
Seed tree, the elevator pitch, which I haven't worked out
Yeah, the
yet.
elevator pitch. Have you got
Yet.
one of those?
No, not really.
Oh,
It's
that's
just
all right.
um, there's amazing people doing amazing things trying to heal the world, the
Mm,
earth, the people in it, the cultures we live in. They're amazing people doing it, and yet they're largely unseen because it's all gated through these big tech players that are misaligned to that eventuality, really, to that future. So Seed Tree is there to basically find and show and hopefully be the connective tissue between the healing world, really, to make
mm,
it visible and kind of make it unstoppable, and make it just easy for people, everyday people in their busy lives, to come in, feel hopeful that the world isn't shit. There's amazing stuff happening,
yes.
and to give them easy on ramps to come in and get involved.
Mm,
Whether that's doing some micro contributions, or just getting involved and supporting. Our attention is actually really an important currency in this world, more important than we know. And that's why so many of the systems we're in are really about
yep,
harvesting our attention.
totally.
And it's our attention that's creating the future in front of us. And if we keep buying into this narrative, then they're creating through us. So
Mm-hmm.
Seed Tree is about like, no, let's like, here's some better stuff to look at, and let's start growing the future that we actually want
Mm.
together. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And it's so aligned to the work I do too, because that's exactly, I love it.
Yeah.
And so Seed Tree also, like, it's a place where people can go and find out about what all these other people are doing to regenerate our culture,
Yep.
to create a different type of future, and find other organizations that, like, so it's organization to organization collaboration, and then individuals who want to volunteer or get involved or purchase from a company, or so it's like a net, like almost like a networking for everyone who's on the same reality of creating a different world to live in. So it's very hopeful. That's what I love about it.
Yeah. Look, there's so many people doing doing their own beautiful work
Mm.
but largely siloed.
Yes.
And and that's how nature does it. It's got all these different methods of growing and different forms, which is great. But what Seed Tree is trying to do is see it as an ecosystem and go,
Mm.
all of those parts are really important. But if we can kind of see it how it's growing as an ecosystem,
Mm.
then we can support the parts that need support.
Mm.
and and there's also efficiencies and kind of a symbiosis, like a symbiotic relationships that can then form when there's a better vision of what's already happening. But then also, in Seed Tree, the organization's already doing the work. We kind of talk about them as being trees, and then the ideas that people have, we all have these amazing ideas floating around in our heads that we don't necessarily always have the resources to bring into the world,
Mm.
like whether that's time or money. So it's also hopefully a fertile ground to plant those seeds into, and to grow new initiatives that maybe are meeting um, different problems in the world, or creating solutions that are providing us services that we need as the people, and supporting us, to have our everyday survival needs met,
Mm.
but in an aligned business or adventure.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, with and looking after the earth in it. I
Yeah.
I love it. Um,
So it's big
Curious.
and big and ambitious.
Oh, it's big and ambitious. I love it. I mean, that's the whole thing. And isn't that so true? That I'm sure there's lots of people who have big visions these days, and it seems to be that they're the sorts of humans that are called to this type of work,
Yeah.
who have big visions, but for whatever reason, their internal architecture just needs some help to be rising up to hold it.
Yes.
Um, I'm curious, just as a little extra thing at the end. So, your bread and butter before this big transformation really came through. What were you doing for bread and butter money?
I'm a builder.
A builder,
Yeah, residential builder.
residential builder.
So I've
Amazing.
I've gone from building boxes
Yep,
out of timber to
yep.
trying to grow trees out of people.
Amazing. On
Yeah.
in a digital world, that using the digital world to connect everybody. And I'm actually I really want to get the nature philosophies not for profit in there as one
Yep.
of the trees
Love
and
to.
seeds. And yeah,
Yeah.
totally. So yeah, maybe we can check back in. So maybe this is something we could do a part two,
Yep.
and like in 6 months check back in and share more of the journey of what you're doing, and talk about too the new world. I think so much has to do with human beings who are spiritually awake becoming powerful leaders,
Yep.
as opposed to all of us giving our power away to the politicians of this world who are just running from such a different type of authenticity and a different version of power. And it's really like it's a very I don't know, like it's a very troubling version of power, but we all continue to reinforce it. And I would love to create more of a space to stay connected, to talk about this type of new leadership that's really emerging in the world for everyone.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I kind of I've had to I've gone to places of having a lot of anger
Yeah.
and frustration and hopelessness around the state of the world. And I guess the place I've come to see now is a lot of the people in the positions of power that are abusing the place of power, or you know being
Mm.
greedy or whatever. I think they're probably just really wounded humans, and wounded humans look to get validation and status or safety in
Mm.
unhealthy ways.
Yeah.
So I've had to really shift my thinking from putting more hate and anger
Mm.
towards the the elite, to kind of
Really.
going, actually what they actually need, what everyone needs is just more love,
Yeah.
really, and
Mm.
to be brought back in to connection and relationship with everything else.
Mm.
It's their isolation from it, that their wealth has enabled it to be isolated from the rest of us, that is um you know it's the problem. But you know maybe it's also the solution. Maybe they actually want to do good in the world. They've got all the money and they actually want to have impact, and the status that they would get from contributing back if we can
Mm.
provide the right incentive structure for them. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I like it.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think whenever we hold hatred and anger towards someone else, we're holding it, and
Yeah.
it's not serving us.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel like then all we're really doing is building the hatred and the anger. I know.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think there's a real opportunity for people who come into this type of work to really take a step up in being spiritually mature, to take responsibility for where they're placing their energy.
yeah,
And a lot of the time, it's very humbling, that piece, to actually say, oh, hang on a minute, the very thing that I'm, fighting against and rail against in the world is actually how I feel on some level within myself towards myself.
yeah,
And when we can wrestle those demons within, then the war within can cease. And we do open ourselves up to possibilities that feel way more unlimited and soul powered.
yeah,
And yeah, and that's the work. I really think that's the real
yeah,
work that we need to do these days, because then the reality does just shift, which is what you're speaking so beautifully to as well. That when you're in that vibration of that type of internal love, the energy just flows. And
yeah,
when we're in fear, that fear will resonate and limit what we're experiencing.
yeah.
So it's amazing, beautiful story and such, and a break. I love it. I love it. It feels like a real
I,
breakthrough.
I've been really pondering and reflect on the yin yang symbol
Yeah,
and how much knowledge I think is really contained within that. And I see it so often, like the thing that we fight against, we
yeah,
actually contain the core of that within us. And I think
always.
I think it was always meant to be like a dynamic, moving. You
Mm,
know, there's movement in that symbol, but I think it would be like this kind of constant expanding of like the thing you fight is inside of you, and then it grows until you become the opposite.
mm,
And that's the dance of the duality. That
yep.
we have a choice. Do you
Yep.
do the dance, or do you step out of it and see it for the beautiful symbol that it is? Yeah.
Yep. Beautiful.
Hmm.
Wonderful. Thanks, Moss. I really
No worries.
appreciate you spending some time with us, and I'm very honored to think that the advanced awareness journey could have played a role in supporting you to birth this beautiful thing. So check it out, everyone who listens to this seed tree.
Thank you. Thanks, Katie, for everything you've brought to the world and to all the people, and yeah, the knowledge that you're sharing and the
Mhm.
amazing container that you've created. Um, yeah, and that you continue to create for people to do this work.
Yeah,
You know,
mm,
the future is going to be changed by us doing our
yeah,
internal work, and
100%.
there's a ripple effect when we do it. We lead the way for the people around us. So
Mm,
it's
yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely, I absolutely agree. It's beautiful. And the whole community, I love it because it's the whole community is on track in that same way. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah, wonderful. All right. Well, have a
Lovely.
good day. Thanks everyone for listening as well.
Yeah, thanks. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.